Kyrie Irving is without a doubt one of the best guards in the game of basketball right now. And even though his start to the 2021-2022 season has been a little wonky with all the COVID stuff and that going on, he's finally back, even if it is just part-time, in the NBA. And with that, I thought it'd be a great time to go over one of my favorite Kyrie signature shoes, the Kyrie 4. What is happening, everybody? I'm Just In Case, and welcome to Shoe-In, the sneaker channel where we talk about which kicks are real shoe-ins and which shoes need to be kicked to the curb. So, like I mentioned, today we're going to be talking about the Kyrie 4, one of my favorite Kyrie signature sneakers. And when it came out, probably one of, if not the best Kyrie that had come out at the time. Everything from the traction, the cushioning, the styling, all of that pretty much came down to just a great Kyrie shoe, especially when it came out. So let's get into a couple things about it. First thing I'm going to talk about, just to get it right out of the way, is the colorway. I absolutely love this colorway. This is the Halloween colorway, and Kyrie 4s came out with a whole bunch of great colorways. Everything from this one, they had that full cereal, I think, line too as well. It's just great. I love it. You'll always have the Uncle Drew ones for these as well. But I always wanted the Halloween ones just because I love the bright green on it. I just think it's super awesome. So I was super happy to pick this up. But yeah, I just wanted to get that out of the way really quick before going into all the other things. Alright, the easiest thing that I can sort of talk about with the Kyrie 4 is going to be the cushioning. When it came out, the previous shoes, the Kyrie 1, 2, and 3, were very well known for having really subpar cushioning. Pretty much they didn't really have a whole lot. A lot of the times I think they were mostly just Phylon and maybe a Zoom unit, but they never really had any good ones. They were still just sort of those base little kind of rectangular things. Pretty much up until the Kyrie 4 came out, Kyries were never known for good cushioning. They were always known for incredible traction, always known for the rounded outsoles. Definitely not cushioning. And this one kind of tried to change that a little bit. So it has a full-length Cushlon foam all the way through the midsole. And then it has that Zoom unit in the heel. I personally prefer Zoom units in the forefoot. I think most people do, but it's not bad. I've seen a lot of videos on the Kyrie 4, and a lot of people mention that they can't really feel the Zoom unit in the heel. I really can. So I don't know if it's just this specific pair is broken in enough to feel it, or if it just takes a good chunk of time to break in. But I really like the heel, the exposed Zoom unit in the heel. I think it's really good on top of the whole Cushlon. That being said, when I mentioned Cushlon, it's not going to be the best Cushlon in the world, kind of like what you'd see on like something new like the KD14. I find it's a little bit more stiff than it is on some more recent models, but I mean, it's still good. I would take it over Phylon any day of the week because Phylon is garbage. But just the combination of the two, the heel Zoom unit and the Cushlon, are really good. I really like it. I think the cushioning on this one is really good. I wish there was a little bit more in the forefoot, but especially when it came out, you can't really complain about the Kyrie 4 for that. Next easiest thing to talk about is going to be the traction. So this one pretty much has it's very hard to describe. It's almost like a more jagged herringbone design in terms of how they tried to do it. The easiest thing to look at is that actual flex groove going all the way down the middle. Clearly, with how the rest of the Kyrie line ended up going in the future, I understand what Nike was trying to do with it. It didn't really help too much. It was supposed to help with like side-to-side movements, giving you a bit more traction back and forth. And it didn't really do that. And the traction in particular on the Kyrie 4 was not spectacular. Like I had said, the cushioning is not what it was known for, but the traction in the Kyrie line was pretty solid up to this point. And that being said, the traction on the Kyrie 4, I think is good. It took a lot more breaking in time than the Kyrie 1, 2, and 3 did. It kind of had this weird, like, little, like, nub, like, kind of nubs on the bottom of them, on each of the little grooves there. And while those were still on it, there was not really a whole lot of bite to it. Once you actually, like, broke it in, wore those down, and actually just got down to the solid kind of rubber underneath, it really came into its own. I think at that point, the traction started to get more on par with some of the other Kyries, but until that point, until you broke it in, it was kind of eh. which is my favorite. Usually I like shoes to not have a very big break-in time, which this one, just for the traction in particular, kind of does. But yeah, apart from that, once you broke it in, it's great. Like, the traction's great, especially if you are wearing this more casually, like I generally do. Things like indoor settings, hardwood tiling, it's pretty good. Like I said, just try and break it in a little bit, just until you start to notice that those little nubs are gone, and then the traction's going to be great from there. One thing that I can talk about that's going to be actually a little bit back and forth is going to be the materials on the Kyrie 4. There's some that I love, some that I hate. Let's start with the ones that I don't really like, and that is going to be most of the material on the forefoot. It's kind of this just textile mesh material. It feels kind of cheap. It's not great quality. It's not the most breathable thing as well, which I think is what they were trying to go for. The tongue is nice enough in terms of the quality materials. It's a little bit nicer, a little bit softer, but the forefoot is just this kind of more aggressive blah material. Like, if you push down, it still kind of holds its shape, so it doesn't really hug your foot super well. It's just pretty blah. But that being said, this one, I don't know if it's all colorways, but this one in particular has suede, which suede is awesome. It has it pretty much entirely on the heel, including a little bit of suede just on the toe bed in terms of the protector there. It's nice. I like it. I just like that slight more premium quality that suede brings in, and it's really soft, which I like. It has a little bit of faux leather on the back too, which is alright. It acts as a little bit of a heel counter. I just like the suede. The suede is awesome. I think that really, really sells the Kyrie 4, and makes up for the kind of shoddy material that they used on the front. Fit is going to be something pretty easy to talk about. I thought it fit relatively true to size, if not a little snug. I'm the kind of person who I like having just a little bit of breathing room in the toe box. The Kyrie, pretty much every Kyrie that I've ever bought has always been a little bit snug, which some people will prefer, which is why I still say it fits true to size. It's just, you might, depending on how much you like having it being a little tight, you might want to go up half a size. I find with some of the Kyries, especially the Kyrie 4, I usually ride at about a 10.5, which I find works in this case. Just even as someone who has a bit of a narrow foot, I still find it a little snug. So just depending on how you like your shoe, I would say either go true to size or maybe go up half a size. That's going to be about it. But the lockdown on it's pretty good with that being said. It has some flywire, just in terms of some of the actual lacing system there, which is really, really nice. Keeps your toe nice and snug in there. The heel counter and how they've actually designed the outsole to sort of come up over the edges really helps for lockdown and just general support. You never feel like you're gonna fall out of it, or you never feel like if you take a weird step you're gonna kind of fall over it a bit. So it's nice. You feel very stable walking around in this shoe. Yeah, just a good one. It's nice. If you end up playing more basketball, in terms of playing indoor or outdoor, I think this one works really, really well for both. The actual grooves on the bottom are pretty thick, so they can take a good little beating. Because, like I said, in terms of the materials, everything on the forefoot is a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more rough. So it can take a little bit more of a beating, and then because the outsole rides up over the edges a little bit, it works really well if you play a lot of outdoor. And then the traction, I think, is still good enough once it's broken in to really last indoor too. So I think it works for both. So last thing I really have to talk about is just going to be how well this shoe rocks off the courts, just walking around casually in your everyday use. I think this is one particular sneaker where it very, very much depends on the colorway that you have. This one, the Halloween one, I love rocking. I just think it looks great wearing pretty much any time. But there are certain colorways that are a little eh. And even the silhouette itself is not super accommodating to just rocking while walking around. I know that, what was it, the first colorway that came out, I think it was is it called Black Ice, if I remember correctly? That one, it's just pretty blah. I think any that are a bit more basic in terms of the color scheme, the look, I find just don't really rock super, super well. Just because the silhouette it looks very much like a a basketball sneaker. There are some basketball shoes that kind of can blend in between being played on the court and being just worn around casually. But the silhouette, especially with the outsole coming up like this, it's just depending on the colorway that you have, I don't think is the easiest silhouette to rock. But like I said, there are certain colorways that look great. I think the all red, I think the Lucky Charm Kyrie 4s look great. Like I said, I love this one. Rocking this one with like a nice pair of like black pants all the way down, I think looks awesome. So I think it just kind of depends, but it's not the easiest one to rock. And anyways, that's pretty much going to be it for the Kyrie 4. I really, really like this sneaker. I had this one pop up actually just on online in terms of what someone was selling one, and I was like, yo, that's going to be a great steal. This is my favorite colorway for the Kyrie 4. This is awesome, so I'm so glad that I was able to pick it up. And pretty much all around, it's a great shoe. The traction is good, even though it takes a little bit of break-in time. The cushioning's great. The materials kind of even out, and it's just this particular colorway is really, really awesome to rock, and I like it. But yeah, that's pretty much going to be it. Thank you guys so much for watching. If there's any particular sneakers you want to see me cover in the future, let me know in the comment section down below. If you liked the video, be sure to hit like. And if you want to see more, be sure to subscribe and hit that little notification bell so you get notified every time I put out a new video. And yeah, that's pretty much going to be it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay happy, stay healthy, and I'll see you in the next one. See ya!